Imagine waking up every day with a clear sense of purpose, knowing exactly how to make yourself better, stronger, and more successful. What if I told you that with just a few simple, consistent actions, you could become 10 times better every single day? The truth is, you already have everything you need to make that happen. It's not about sudden, drastic changes. It's about small, powerful habits that build momentum over time. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 proven ways to push past your limits, conquer self-doubt, and level up your life. These strategies are designed to make you more disciplined, focused, and resilient, helping you stay on track even when the challenges get tough. Ready to unlock your full potential? Let's dive in and transform your daily routine into a powerhouse of growth and success. Number 1, start each day with a clear and powerful intention. You wake up and the world is already asking things from you. Messages, noise, pressure, distractions, all pulling at your mind before you've even taken your first breath with awareness. And most people, they just get pulled along. They go straight into reacting. No direction, no intention, no control. That's how most days get wasted. Not because you didn't have time, but because you didn't decide what the day would mean to you. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything. Not just how much you get done, but how you feel about yourself, how strong you feel inside, how grounded you are when life throws stress at you. That's why if you want to become 10 times better every day, not once a year, not once a decade, then you must start each day with a clear and powerful intention. Not a wish, not a vague hope, but a firm decision. You know what intention does? It gives your energy a direction. It gives your mind something to focus on. Without it, your energy is scattered. Your emotions get pulled in 10 different directions. You feel overwhelmed, uncertain, and by the end of the day you're drained, but you can't even say what you were trying to achieve in the first place. People often ask, how do I change my life? It's simple. You change your life by changing how you show up each day, and you change how you show up each day by choosing what that day is going to mean to you before the world does. Starting your day with intention is not about writing some perfect affirmation on a sticky note. It's about sitting with yourself and asking, what is my focus today? What kind of person do I want to be today? What do I refuse to waste energy on? What matters today more than anything else? When you do this, you're not waiting for life to happen. You're not drifting. You're deciding. Intention creates clarity, and clarity is power. Without it, even your strengths work against you. You work hard, but on the wrong things. You give your energy away, trying to please people who don't even know what they want. You say yes when you should be saying no. You feel busy, but you're not fulfilled. That's what happens when you don't start with intention. You live the day reacting instead of creating. But when you do it right, when you take a few quiet moments in the morning and ground yourself in a strong decision, your whole energy changes. You walk different. You speak different. You make decisions with confidence because you know what matters to you. And every action you take, no matter how small, starts building momentum. You're not just moving. You're moving in the direction that matters most. Here's the truth. Most people wake up with no plan for who they want to be. They have plans for meetings, plans for appointments, plans for errands, but no plan for their mind. No plan for how they want to carry themselves. No plan for how they want to respond to stress, fear, or failure. That's why they keep repeating the same patterns. That's why their days feel empty, no matter how much they check off the to-do list. So if you want to change your days, and if you want those days to change your life, then start where it actually matters. Start with your intention. You have to build a new ritual, not a complicated one, just a consistent one. When you wake up, before the phone, before the world, before the pressure, take 5 minutes and decide who you're going to be today. Ask yourself, what kind of energy do I want to bring today? What emotion do I want to master today? What action will make today feel like a win? It might be courage. It might be patience. It might be discipline. You choose, and that choice becomes your anchor. Now, some people will hear this and say, I don't have time for that. I've got responsibilities. I've got a job. I've got kids. I've got pressure. And I understand that, but I'll tell you this. You can either make time for your intention or be ruled by someone else's. And when you live like that long enough, you wake up one day realizing you've lost control of your life. Not because someone took it from you, but because you gave it away by not deciding who you wanted to be. You deserve better than that. You deserve to wake up with power. You deserve to feel like your day is an opportunity, not a burden. And that power begins when you start choosing your intention instead of letting life choose it for you. And listen, this isn't just about feeling good. This is about building a stronger you, a version of yourself that doesn't crack under pressure, a version that gets things done, a version that knows where they're going. That's what intention does. It makes you steady. It makes you powerful. It makes you real. Let me tell you something most people never hear. You don't have to live on autopilot. You don't have to wake up each day wondering what's going to happen to you. You can wake up and decide what you're going to bring to the day. And when you start living like that, something shifts. You start showing up with more presence, more purpose, more certainty, and people feel it. Your energy becomes undeniable. Your progress becomes unstoppable. Because when your mind is clear, your steps get bold. You stop hesitating. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop wasting time on distractions. You start focusing on the right things. You start saying no to the noise and yes to the direction that makes sense for your growth. Now I want you to really hear this. Starting your day with intention doesn't guarantee the day will go smoothly. It doesn't mean life won't throw you curveballs, but it means you'll be ready. You'll know what you stand for that day. You'll know what matters to you. And when you know what matters, it's a lot harder to get knocked off course. That's how you build strength. That's how you build focus. And that's how you become 10 times better every day. Not by adding more, but by becoming more of who you are. If you're tired of the same days, if you're tired of feeling scattered, drained, and disconnected from your goals, then it's time to take back control. Start every morning with 5 minutes of power. 5 minutes where you remind yourself who you are, what you want, and what kind of energy you're going to carry into the world. If you do that every day, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to respect yourself more. And when you respect yourself, you stop tolerating the things that pull you down. You stop living small. You stop staying silent. You start making decisions with confidence. You start leading yourself. And that, my friend, is what personal power looks like. It doesn't come from what you own or what title you have. It comes from how you carry yourself each day, from the quiet decisions you make before the world wakes up, from the moments where you choose strength over comfort, focus over noise, purpose over pressure. This is your life. You don't get today again. You don't get this morning again. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Decide who you want to be. Feel it, speak it, live it. And if the world pushes you, don't panic. Return to your intention, because that's your anchor. That's your truth. That's your power. You have what it takes to become 10 times better. Not someday, but today. But you've got to stop waiting. Stop drifting. Start deciding. And it all starts with one choice: to begin your day not as a victim of time, but as a creator of your life. So the next time your alarm rings, don't just jump up and start running. Take a breath. Take your power back. Speak your intention into that day. Own it before the world tries to shape it for you. That's how you build a life you respect. That's how you build days that build your future. You want to be 10 times better? Then start with one clear intention and live it with everything you've got. Number 2, take massive action and push through your resistance. You already know what you need to do. The problem is you're not doing it. And that right there is where most people lose the game. Not because they don't have the tools, not because they're not smart enough, but because they let resistance win. They let that feeling, that discomfort, that fear, that hesitation stop them. And day after day, they push their goals to the side. Not because they don't want them, but because they've built the habit of avoiding the uncomfortable work that creates real progress. You've got to stop doing that. You've got to snap yourself out of it. Because the truth is, your life isn't going to wait for you to feel ready. Your potential isn't going to magically unlock itself. You're going to have to take massive action, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. Because that's where the growth is. That's where the breakthrough lives. That's where the version of you you're chasing starts to show up. If you don't break through resistance, resistance becomes your identity. You start telling yourself stories like, I'm just not disciplined, or I always fall off, or maybe it's not for me. And that mindset, that quiet surrender, starts to rot your confidence from the inside out. You stop believing in yourself. You stop trusting your own word. And that's a dangerous place to live. You can't let that continue. You've got to reverse it. And the only way to reverse it is to start showing yourself proof that you will do what needs to be done. Not later, not when it's easier, not when you feel like it, but now. That's the only thing that builds real self-belief. Not books, not quotes, not hype. Action. Relentless action. Daily action. The kind of action that makes you uncomfortable. The kind that stretches your limits. The kind that forces you to confront the part of you that's been hiding. That's the action that changes lives. So here's the challenge. Start doing the things you keep avoiding. Make a list of them. Look them in the face. Don't flinch. Don't run. Don't tell yourself a story about why it's not the right time. If you keep avoiding the hard things, your life stays small. Your potential stays buried. Your dreams stay on the shelf. And you were not built for that. You weren't given this mind, this fire, this hunger to live a life of hesitation. You were given this life to build something with it. But you can't build anything with wishful thinking. You need action. Not one day of effort. Daily effort. Uncomfortable effort. Focused effort. Here's the mistake most people make. They think they need motivation first. They think they need to feel a certain way before they start. That's a lie. Action comes first. Emotion follows. If you keep waiting to feel ready, you'll be stuck forever. You'll keep waking up with a quiet guilt in your chest. Because deep down, you'll know you're capable of more, but you're not doing it. And that kind of guilt doesn't go away. It gets heavier. There's something powerful that happens when you stop negotiating with yourself. When you stop giving yourself outs. When you stop overthinking and just do what needs to be done. You build strength. You build discipline. You build self-respect. Every time you take action in the face of resistance, you prove something to yourself. You prove that you're not soft. You prove that your fear doesn't own you. You prove that you're willing to pay the price to live the life you actually want. And that proof is priceless. You want to change how you feel? Start by changing what you do. You want to change how you see yourself? Start by pushing through the things you've been avoiding. That's the only way to break out of the loop. That's the only way to rise. It's not enough to know what to do. It's not enough to have dreams. It's not enough to have talent. Everybody's got those things. What separates the ones who change their lives from the ones who stay stuck is action. Uncomfortable action. Relentless action. The kind of action that doesn't wait for the perfect plan. The kind of action that doesn't care about the fear. The kind of action that says, I will move forward no matter how I feel. When was the last time you pushed yourself so hard you surprised yourself? When was the last time you ignored the voice that said you can't and proved it wrong with action? You've got to start doing more of that. That's where confidence comes from. That's where clarity comes from. That's where your energy shifts. That's where you wake up one day and realize you're no longer afraid of hard things, you crave them. You've got to make discomfort your training ground. Because every time you push through it, you level up. You gain something no one can take from you. You develop grit. You develop hunger. You develop self-trust. That's how winners are built. If you want to be 10 times better, you've got to start doing 10 times more of the work that matters. Not busy work. Not distractions. The real work. The deep work. The scary work. That's the work that transforms you. That's the work that reveals the person you've always wanted to become. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tiring. But it's going to be worth it. Because nothing feels better than knowing you gave your full effort. Nothing feels better than looking back and knowing you didn't back down. Nothing feels better than feeling your own strength grow. Because you refused to quit. So ask yourself right now, what am I avoiding? What action have I been putting off? Because it feels too uncomfortable. Whatever that is, that's your path. That's where you grow. That's where you break through. You've got to face it. You've got to take the first step, and then another, and then another. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for support. This is your life, and the clock is ticking. The only way to build the life you want is to move, with urgency, with commitment, with action. Stop looking for the perfect plan. Start doing what you already know needs to be done. It's not going to feel easy, but it's going to feel right. Because this is how transformation happens. Not by thinking about change, but by doing what's hard, consistently, until it becomes part of you. That's how you become unstoppable. That's how you become someone who doesn't need motivation. Because action is now your habit. You're not here to live soft. You're not here to repeat old patterns. You're here to build, to grow, to break cycles. And the only way you do that is by choosing action over fear, action over excuses, action over comfort. When resistance shows up, good. That means you're facing something real. That means there's something meaningful on the other side. You don't run from that. You push through it. You show up. You do the work. The world doesn't need more people who think about what they could do. It needs more people who move, who act, who commit, who fight. That's what changes families. That's what changes communities. That's what changes lives. So here's what you need to understand. The pain of taking action is temporary, but the pain of regret, that stays with you. Every day you avoid doing what matters is a day you hand your future over to fear. And that future doesn't wait forever. You want to be great. Earn it. Not by talking. Not by dreaming. By moving. Every single day. When it's boring. When it's hard. When no one is watching. That's where champions are made. So right now, this moment, make a choice. No more hesitation. No more waiting. No more hiding. Take the action you've been avoiding. Lean into it. Embrace the resistance. Use it as fuel. Because if you can move when it's hard, you can move through anything. And if you can do that, if you can show up day after day and push through the voice that says stop, then you become dangerous. Then you become someone who is 10 times stronger, 10 times clearer, 10 times more capable. Not because life got easier, but because you got better. Number 3, set high standards for yourself and refuse to settle. You become unstoppable the moment you decide that average is no longer acceptable. That decision changes everything. Because most people don't decide. They just drift. They go through life accepting whatever shows up. They settle for jobs they don't like, relationships that don't grow them, habits that quietly drain their energy, and before they realize it, 10 years are gone, and nothing's really changed. They've just existed. And you were not born to exist. You were born to set the bar so high for yourself that it forces you to evolve into someone far beyond who you were yesterday. The reason most people feel stuck isn't because life is unfair. It's because their standards are too low. They tolerate things they shouldn't. They accept behaviors that sabotage their growth. They tell themselves, it's fine even when they know it's not. And that quiet compromise becomes a pattern, a habit, a lifestyle. But the truth is, the moment you raise your standards, everything around you begins to shift. Your energy changes. Your circle changes. Your direction changes. And the way you carry yourself changes. Not because of luck, but because you stopped accepting less than what you truly deserve. There is a version of you that doesn't settle, that shows up with discipline, that keeps promises, that doesn't chase approval. That version is already inside you, but it only reveals itself when you demand more from yourself than the world demands of you. Too many people are waiting for external pressure to push them to grow. That's weak. That's reactive. Real power comes from internal pressure, from holding yourself to a standard that others don't even see. Not because someone told you to, but because you decided to expect more from yourself than anyone else ever could. That's where pride is built. That's where confidence is born. Not in comfort, in challenge, in effort, in living each day, in alignment with your highest potential. Ask yourself right now, what are you tolerating? What behaviors have you allowed that are keeping you small? What goals have you downsized just to protect your comfort? Be honest, because that's the only way you change. You don't become great by sugarcoating reality. You become great by facing it head on, by drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is who I am now. This is what I expect, and I will not go back. When you set high standards, you stop blaming. You stop whining. You stop pointing fingers. Because now it's on you. You own your results. You own your habits. You own your decisions. And that ownership is the foundation of all lasting success. You start treating your time like it matters. You stop giving energy to things that drain you. You start surrounding yourself with people who push you, not people who excuse your mediocrity. Because now the mission is clear. Build a life that reflects the best in you, not the version of you that's always settling for less. Setting high standards doesn't mean being perfect. It means being honest about your potential and refusing to ignore it. It means refusing to accept laziness when you know you've got more in you. It means cutting off excuses the moment they show up. It means doing things right even when no one's watching. Especially when no one's watching, because that's where character is built. That's where you earn your own respect. That's where self-trust grows. Every time you hold the line and say, this is how I do things, even when it's harder, even when it's inconvenient, you strengthen something inside you. You create a kind of quiet power that doesn't need to brag, doesn't need validation. It just lives in your decisions, your habits, your presence. You want a better life. Don't lower the goal. Raise your behavior. Raise the way you talk to yourself. Raise the way you show up. Raise the way you follow through. Every inch of progress starts with a higher standard. You can't have high-quality results with low-effort actions. You can't have strong relationships with weak communication. You can't have deep fulfillment if you're constantly running from discomfort. The math doesn't add up. Your results will always mirror your standards. So what do? You raise them. You raise them so high that your old self feels uncomfortable trying to keep up. You raise them so high that you start losing people who are only comfortable with the watered-down version of you. You raise them so high that even on your worst days, you're still miles ahead of who you used to be. And you don't do it once. You do it constantly. Because the game is never over. Growth never ends. You don't get a gold medal for showing up strong for 1 week. You've got to show up over and over again, long after the excitement wears off, long after the praise disappears, long after it stops being convenient. That's what separates the ones who make it from the ones who stay stuck. Not talent, not intelligence, standards. The ones who win demand more from themselves, even when no one else does. Stop trying to convince others to respect you. Show them through how you live. Stop begging for opportunities. Earn them through the energy you bring. Stop comparing yourself to people who are willing to settle. That's not your tribe anymore. Your tribe is people who challenge you, people who sharpen you, people who won't let you play small. If your circle is comfortable with mediocrity, it's not a circle, it's a cage, and it's time to break out. When you raise your standards, you stop chasing shortcuts. You start respecting the process. You stop hoping for easy. You start preparing for hard, because hard is where the growth is. And you're not afraid of that anymore. You welcome it. This is your life. One shot, one chance. And every single day, you are either rising toward your potential or drifting further away from it. There's no neutral. There's no pause button. You're either growing or shrinking. And that choice, that direction, is set by your standards. So if you're serious about becoming 10 times better, it's time to set expectations that force you to level up. No more good enough. No more someday. No more settling for average in any area of your life. Raise your standard for how you treat your body. Raise your standard for how you manage your time. Raise your standard for the energy you bring to your work. Raise your standard for the people you allow close to you. Raise your standard for how you speak to yourself. Raise your standard for what you accept from yourself. This is not about being hard on yourself. It's about being honest with yourself. Honest enough to say, I'm done with half effort. I'm done with playing small. I'm done with talking about potential. It's time to live it. Because once you raise the standard and you hold it, life begins to meet you there. People start treating you differently. Opportunities start showing up. Your mindset shifts. Your decisions sharpen. You stop hoping for change and start becoming the force that creates it. And that's the moment you become a leader. Not because you say the right things, but because you do the right things, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because now you're driven by something deeper than comfort. You're driven by purpose. There's nothing more powerful than a person with high standards and relentless consistency. That combination builds momentum. That combination builds legacy. That combination builds a life you don't need to escape from, because it reflects everything you've become. You've got this one line. Raise the bar, then rise to meet it, and never settle again. Number 4, prioritize your health to fuel your success every day. If your body breaks down, your dreams fall with it. There is no amount of ambition that can outrun poor health. You can have the best strategies, the sharpest mind, and the strongest desire to win. But if your energy is low, if your body's tired, if your system is under constant stress, you won't sustain anything meaningful. You might have short bursts of motivation, but you won't last. You won't endure. You won't dominate. Because success, real success, is built on endurance. It's built on vitality. And that comes from how you treat your body every single day. Most people put their health last, thinking they can get to it later. But there is no later if your health collapses. Now, you don't get to enjoy the rewards if your body's too weak to show up for the fight. What good is financial freedom if you're too sick to live it? What good is having influence if you're constantly running on fumes? You have to stop seeing your health as something separate from your success. It's not an afterthought. It's the engine. It's the foundation. It's the fuel that powers your clarity, your confidence, your discipline, and your output. When your health is strong, you think better. You move better. You speak with more power. You wake up ready, not sluggish. And that's not a coincidence. That's the result of choices, not luck. The truth is, your body is always responding to how you treat it, and it doesn't lie. If you're feeling tired all the time, distracted, emotionally unstable, foggy, anxious, your body's trying to tell you something. Most people numb it. They push through with caffeine, distractions, and shallow motivation. But it always catches up, always, because the price of neglect adds up over time. And when the bill comes, it's expensive. So if you're serious about becoming the best version of yourself, you have to get serious about your health. Not as a goal, but as a way of living. Not for 6 weeks, for life. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent, and you need to be intentional. Start by understanding this. Your health habits are either helping you win or slowly weakening your edge. There is no neutral. Every meal, every hour of sleep, every workout, every glass of water, every moment of rest, it either strengthens your system or wears it down. And when your system's strong, you become dangerous in the best way. You can go longer, think clearer, speak with conviction, show up with presence. That's not just physical, that's psychological, that's spiritual. Because when your body is aligned, your mind follows. Most people don't know what it feels like to be truly energized because they've normalized fatigue. They've gotten used to feeling sluggish. So they assume that's just life. It's not. It's a reflection of choices that have been tolerated for too long. And the moment you stop tolerating it, everything begins to shift. Drink more water than you think you need. Eat food that nourishes you, not just entertains your taste buds. Move your body every day, not just for fitness, but for focus. Sleep like your future depends on it, because it does. And don't do it as a punishment. Do it as a promise to the person you're becoming. Because when your body's alive, your dreams speed up, your execution sharpens, your frustration decreases, your confidence multiplies. This isn't some luxury, it's leverage. Your energy is the greatest tool you have. You want better relationships, bring better energy. You want to build something meaningful, show up with energy. You want to inspire others, walk in with energy they can feel. And you don't get that by accident, you earn it. You earn it by treating your body with the respect it deserves, not by starving yourself, not by obsessing over the scale, but by aligning with what keeps you strong. Your body will reward you for it. It will thank you with focus, with mood stability, with sharpness, with calmness under pressure. And once you feel that shift, you won't want to go back. You'll wonder how you ever operated on such low fuel before. Make your health a part of your identity. Not something you do when it's convenient, but a reflection of who you are. Someone who values vitality. Someone who doesn't settle for average energy. Someone who moves with intention. Because when that's who you are, consistency becomes automatic. Discipline becomes easier. And success becomes sustainable. This doesn't mean you never rest. Rest is part of the work. But there's a difference between real rest and lazy escape. Real rest rebuilds you. It restores your strength. It sharpens your mind. You wake up better, clearer, more focused. Lazy escape leaves you dull, distracted, weaker. Don't confuse the two. There will be days when you don't feel like doing the right thing. Days when comfort whispers louder than purpose. That's when your standard needs to speak up. That's when your identity needs to lead. Because the way you treat your body during those days tells the world how serious you are about your mission. You can't afford to treat your health as optional. Because what's the cost of being too tired to pursue your vision? What's the cost of missing moments with your family? Because your energy's too low. What's the cost of losing clarity? Because your habits are sabotaging your mind. You have goals that require stamina. You have dreams that need you to be sharp, alert, present. So if you want those dreams to survive, your health has to be part of the strategy. You don't have to be an athlete, but you do have to show up like a professional. You do have to move like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. Energy is a currency. Spend it wisely, invest it intentionally, protect it fiercely, and build it daily. Because when you walk into a room with strong energy, you don't need to say much. People feel it, they respect it, they're drawn to it. That's influence. That's presence. And that starts with how you care for your body behind closed doors. The workouts you complete when no one's watching. The meals you prep when no one's applauding. The sleep you prioritize when others are scrolling. The boundaries you set when others are breaking down. That's what builds a person who wins long term. Don't wait for a health scare to wake up. Don't wait for burnout to realize you've been ignoring what matters most. Make the decision now. Build a lifestyle that supports your energy, not drains it. Fuel your days like your goals depend on it, because they do. You want to be consistent, strengthen your health. You want to be disciplined, fuel your body right. You want to show up with power, build your energy system like it's your business, because it is. This is what separates those who rise from those who fade. Not just ambition, not just intelligence, stamina, focus, energy. And those are built in the gym, in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the small daily habits that no one sees but everyone eventually feels. It's not just about living longer. It's about living better, more alive, more alert, more intentional. And when you live that way, everything changes. You stop tolerating weak conversations. You stop chasing shallow goals. You stop showing up halfway. Because now you've got something most people don't. Power. Not just physical power, inner power. The kind that comes from discipline, alignment, and purpose. If you want to become 10 times better, start by treating your body like a partner, not a burden. It's been carrying you this far. Honor it, strengthen it, fuel it, and it will carry you to places you never imagined. You already know what to do. The question is, will you do it today? Will you make your health a priority before it forces itself to the front of your life? Will you choose energy over excuses? Will you fuel yourself like a person who is serious about their destiny? This is your moment. Decide now. Move now. Change now. Because nothing works at its best unless your health is at its best. And once that's handled, everything else starts to move faster, smoother, stronger. You don't just survive, you lead, you build, you rise. Prioritize your health and watch everything around you begin to catch up. Number 5. Develop unshakable discipline and stick to your plan. You will never change your life until you change what you do daily. And no change lasts without discipline. Every person you admire, every success story you hear, every legacy that inspires you, behind it all is a backbone of brutal discipline. Not talent, not luck, discipline. The ability to do what needs to be done long after the mood has disappeared. That's what separates the hopeful from the powerful. That's what draws the line between potential and greatness. If you want to transform your life, you must stop relying on how you feel and start depending on what you decide. You don't build discipline in a moment of inspiration. You build it when you wake up and follow through, even when everything inside you screams to quit. You build it when you say no to comfort and yes to purpose. Discipline isn't exciting. It isn't flashy. It doesn't post well on social media, but it wins, and it wins consistently. That's why most people don't have it. They chase intensity, not consistency. But discipline lives in the quiet, in the boring, in the lonely reps you do when nobody's clapping, in the promises you keep to yourself, even when no one else would know if you broke them. This is what builds a life you're proud of. You can't escape the work. You can't cheat the grind. You can't fake repetition. You either show up or you don't. And every time you skip, every time you delay, every time you make an excuse, you're casting a vote against your future self. That's the truth. Discipline is how you cast a vote for the version of you that deserves the life you want. It doesn't matter how clear your goals are. It doesn't matter how much you write down your vision. If you don't have the discipline to follow through daily, you're just fantasizing. The dream will die in your head, because the only way a vision survives the real world is if it's backed by relentless action. And action requires structure. It requires a plan. But more than that, it requires discipline to stick to that plan, especially when nothing is going your way. You're going to want to quit. You're going to feel tired, bored, frustrated. And that's exactly when discipline must speak louder than emotion. Your emotions want comfort. Your discipline demands progress. If you keep letting your feelings decide your actions, your life will be a slave to your moods. But if you anchor yourself to your plan, if you treat your structure as law, your emotions will adapt to your leadership. People who win aren't more motivated. They're just more obedient to their commitments. They show up because they said they would, not because it feels good. That's where freedom begins. When you learn to lead yourself, even when every part of you wants to drift. When you stop negotiating with laziness. When you stop arguing with the alarm clock. When you stop justifying failure in the name of self-care and start choosing the discipline of real self-respect. Discipline is love, not punishment. Love for your potential. Love for your future. Love for your standards. Because you know that comfort is cheap, but results are expensive, and only discipline can afford them. You already know what to do. You already know the habits that would change everything for you. The gym you keep skipping. The meals you keep sabotaging. The hours you waste scrolling. The bedtime you keep ignoring. You already know, but knowledge isn't the problem. Discipline is, and that's what must be built. Not once, daily. Because it doesn't stay. You can't just have it and keep it. You have to choose it again and again and again. The fastest way to build discipline is to stop making it optional. Stop treating your plan like a suggestion. Treat it like a non-negotiable. You wouldn't skip work without consequences. Why skip your goals? Why break promises to yourself and expect confidence to grow? Every time you honor your plan, your self-belief strengthens. Every time you follow through, you hardwire trust. And when you trust yourself, your life starts to move. But if you keep flaking, if you keep folding, you'll stay stuck. Not because you're not capable, because you keep training yourself to fail quietly. That has to end now. Not tomorrow, now. Discipline starts today, not when life feels easier. You think the timing has to be right. No, the timing becomes right when you become consistent. Waiting for perfect conditions is just fear in disguise. You want change? Build it in chaos. Create order in the mess. That's power. And it doesn't take magic. It takes simple habits, repeated daily. Even when your brain says, just skip today. That's the moment you grow. That's the moment you take control. The world will give you every excuse to give in. Late nights, hard days, emotional triggers, social pressure. But none of those are stronger than your will when you decide that your life is yours to build, not just survive. Let people laugh. Let them doubt. Let them tell you to relax. You're not here to blend in. You're here to rise. And that requires focus. Most people never choose. Let them waste time. You invest it. Let them break under pressure. You train under it. Let them look for shortcuts. You build stamina. Discipline is how you build a mindset that doesn't break under stress. It's how you prepare for the days that suck because they're coming. And when they hit, you'll be ready. Not because you hoped things would go well, but because you prepared for war. You trained in the dark. You moved through pain. You followed the plan, even when it made no sense emotionally. This is your edge. This is how you earn a life. People envy, not by talking, not by posting, by doing every single day, without the need for applause, without the need for recognition, because your mission matters more than validation, because you've made a decision to stop drifting, because your time is too precious to waste on half efforts and impulsive detours. Stick to your plan like your future depends on it, because it does. Your goals aren't just some vague wish list, they're blueprints. And your plan is the construction schedule. Without it, you're wandering. But when you stick to it, day by day, task by task, hour by hour, you build, you stack momentum. You collect small wins that lead to major breakthroughs. But the moment you let inconsistency sneak in, everything wobbles. Miss one day. And it's easier to miss the second. Break one rule, and you start bargaining with your values. You can't afford that. Not if you want to rise. Not if you want to dominate. Discipline is what holds it all together. It's the glue, the guardrail, the engine, the fire. If you really want to level up, track everything. Be honest about your progress. Audit your effort. Are you really giving it all, or just enough to feel like you tried? Most people lie to themselves every day about how hard they're working, how focused they are, how much they care. But the mirror never lies, and neither do the results. You want better outcomes. Build better discipline. Don't wait to feel motivated. That's a trap. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. Build habits that work, even when you don't feel like it. Set alarms. Cut distractions. Prepare your environment. Surround yourself with people who push you, not pity you. Read books that sharpen your mind. Fuel your body with food that energizes you. Speak to yourself with authority, not self-pity. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not stuck. You are undisciplined. And that can change. That must change if you're serious about building a life you can be proud of. One disciplined day won't change everything, but it's a start, then another, then another. And soon your habits take over. Your results compound. Your confidence explodes. This is what it means to take control, not just to set goals, but to build the discipline that hits them. To stop chasing dopamine and start chasing results. To stop making decisions based on comfort and start making them based on commitment. You don't need more time. You don't need more chances. You need more discipline. And it's yours, if you choose it. So here's the truth. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to drag you to your dream. You either build it through discipline or watch it die through delay. That's the choice. Right here, right now. What are you going to do? If you're ready to transform your life, make discipline your religion. Live by it. Protect it. Honor it. Because the moment you stop waiting for the perfect mood and start moving in the direction of your vision, everything changes. You become the kind of person who doesn't just set goals, but hits them, keeps climbing, and never slows down. So start today. Don't just listen. Act. Don't just agree. Execute. Don't just want it. Prove it. Discipline will carry you when nothing else does. Build it now, and nothing will be out of reach. Number 6. Learn from your failures and improve every single time. What if the failure that broke you was the exact lesson that could set you free? If you just had the courage to face it. Everyone fails. Everyone falls. Everyone reaches a moment in life when what they hoped for collapses, when their plans go up in smoke, and when their efforts don't bring the reward they expected. But not everyone learns. Not everyone grows. Not everyone uses failure as a stepping stone. Some run from it. Some hide from it. Some let it define them. But you have a choice. You can let your mistakes destroy your confidence, or you can use them to build the version of you who never gives up. One road leads to regret. The other leads to wisdom. Nobody likes to fail. It hurts. It humbles. It stings in places no applause can reach. But that pain, that brutal, honest pain, is pure gold if you listen to it. It holds a mirror to your blind spots. It exposes where you got comfortable. It reveals where you got lazy, where you lacked preparation, or where you were operating from pride instead of truth. And if you're willing to face that, if you're willing to ask, what can I learn from this, instead of asking, why me? Then failure stops being a threat and starts becoming your mentor. Think about this. How many times have you repeated the same pattern? Not because you wanted to, but because you never took the time to understand your last mistake. Most people don't fail because of lack of ability. They fail because they keep ignoring the lessons hidden inside their past setbacks. They fall again and again in the same place, not because they're cursed, but because they're not paying attention. The universe isn't punishing you. It's trying to teach you. Are you listening? If you're serious about growth, you must learn to study your losses with the same intensity that you celebrate your wins. When you win, you reinforce what worked. But when you fail, you discover what's broken. That's how you evolve. That's how you upgrade. You cannot change what you won't confront, and you cannot grow from what you won't own. Blaming others, making excuses, hiding behind circumstances, none of that will make you better. Only one thing will: responsibility. Responsibility is power. When you look your failure in the eye and say, "This is mine to learn from," you take back your control. You stop being a victim. You stop feeling like life is happening to you and start realizing life is happening through you. That's the shift. That's where maturity begins. That's where resilience is born. You stop asking for easier days and start building stronger character. The people who rise the highest are never the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop improving after they fall. They use each mistake as feedback. They treat failure as information, not identity. They break it down, they extract the insight, and they apply it forward with precision. That's why they win. Not because they're smarter, but because they're students of their own struggle. You need to stop fearing failure like it's a disease. It's not. It's a wake-up call. It's an invitation to examine your mindset, your habits, your preparation, your discipline. Most of the time, the setback is a reflection of something you neglected long before it showed up, and you knew it. Deep down, you knew something was off, but you ignored it. That's where failure becomes useful. It forces you to be honest in a way success never could. You won't grow by pretending everything is fine. You grow by digging into what went wrong without ego. You grow by asking better questions. What did I miss? What didn't I prepare for? Where did I compromise my standards? How can I prevent this next time? These are the questions that rebuild your foundation. These are the questions that shape mental toughness. Weak people avoid them. Winners seek them out. Because they understand this one good lesson from failure is worth more than 1,000 empty affirmations. If you're truly hungry for success, you need to adopt a mindset that sees failure as fuel, not just a stepping stone, but a necessity. You don't become unstoppable by avoiding mistakes. You become unstoppable by refusing to be defined by them. You keep pushing. You keep adjusting. You keep showing up with a smarter strategy and a sharper mind. Because every loss becomes leverage. Let me tell you the truth. The world will remember you for how you bounced back, not how you avoided risk. Playing it safe won't protect you. It'll trap you. Because playing small to avoid failure is still a form of failure. It's the failure to live at your full potential. You weren't made to be average. You weren't made to play defense your whole life. You were made to grow, and growth demands pressure. Growth demands mistakes. Growth demands that you walk into situations where failure is possible, so that learning becomes inevitable. And yes, some failures will hit harder than others. Some will shake your identity. Some will feel like your whole world is falling apart. But here's what you need to know. Those are the ones that change you the most. The pain that breaks your heart also breaks open new levels of strength inside you, but only if you don't numb it. Only if you sit with it. Only if you examine it until you find the gift buried inside the ashes. People who thrive aren't fearless. They're just more curious about what failure can teach them than what comfort can protect them from. They step into challenges knowing they might mess up. They go all in anyway, because they've realized something most people never do. Failure isn't the opposite of progress. It's part of it. It's the fire that refines, the weight that strengthens, the mirror that tells the truth. So stop running from it. Start mining it. Start journaling about it. Start talking to yourself differently after it happens. Don't say, I'm such a screw up. Say, here's what I missed. Here's what I'll do differently. That's not delusion. That's growth. And the more you practice it, the faster you evolve. Let every failure be a chapter, not a conclusion. Let it teach you how to communicate better, prepare deeper, think longer, and act wiser. Let it sharpen your vision and humble your assumptions. Let it train you to be precise, accountable, and alert. Don't just survive it. Study it. Turn it into a strategy. Let it inform your future steps so they're sharper, cleaner, and more aligned with who you want to become. You're not here to live a perfect life. You're here to live a transformed life. And transformation only happens through friction, through trial, through error, through the repeated choice to learn faster than you fall. That's the real game. Not avoiding pain, but evolving through it. You've already failed before, and you're still here. That means you're stronger than you think. That means you've survived 100% of your hardest moments. And that means you're qualified to rise again, but better this time, sharper, clearer, hungrier, because now you have something you didn't have before, data. And when you apply it, you don't repeat history. You rewrite it. So here's what I need you to understand. Your past mistakes do not define your future potential. The only thing that defines your future is what you do after you fail. That's it. One choice, one mindset shift, one moment of clarity where you say, I won't let this break me. I'll let it build me. Start today. Review your past. Look your failures in the eye, not with shame, with strategy. Ask yourself, what's the hidden wisdom in this moment? Take notes, set new standards, create better systems. Don't just want to improve, prove it. Every time you fail, get better. Every time you stumble, adjust your footing. Every time you're knocked down, rise stronger. And remember, progress is not linear. It's messy. It's filled with ups, downs, loops, and setbacks. But that's where champions are forged. In the dirt, in the dark, in the quiet moments where no one's watching. But you're still learning, still building, still believing. Let your next move be smarter, because your last one wasn't. Let your next plan be sharper, because your last one failed. Let your next version be stronger, because the old one wasn't ready yet. That's how you rise. If this hit you, if something inside of you knows it's time to stop being afraid of your past and start using it as fuel, then commit. Don't just listen. Act. Don't just feel inspired. Be transformed. Take one lesson from your last failure and build on it. Starting now. Keep learning. Keep leveling up. Because the only way to fail for real is to stop trying. And that's not an option for you. You're here to evolve. You're here to win. And now you know every failure is a step toward exactly that. Number 7. Surround yourself with people who challenge your growth. If you're always the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And staying there is the fastest way to kill your potential. Look at your life right now. Look at your goals. Look at your hunger. Then look around you. Who's feeding it? Who's challenging you to go further? Dig deeper. Level up beyond your comfort zone. Or are you surrounded by people who let you stay where you are because it makes them feel safe too? Most people never reach their highest self, not because they lack talent or drive, but because they surround themselves with people who don't expect more from them. You think you're loyal? You think you're being a good friend, but what you're actually doing is shrinking to fit a space that no longer matches your ambition. And deep down, you feel it. You know you're capable of more, but every time you try to break through, your environment pulls you back down like gravity wrapped in casual conversations. It's not enough to want growth. You need to be around people who demand it from you. People who don't let you coast. People who look you in the eyes and ask, is that the best you can do? And not because they're trying to tear you down, but because they believe there's more in you than you're giving. That kind of pressure will change your life. That kind of energy will force you to evolve. You need people around you who won't tolerate your excuses, who won't validate your laziness, who won't clap for mediocrity. You need people who make you uncomfortable in the best way possible. Because comfort is a slow death for those who crave greatness. Growth lives in tension. It lives in friction. It lives in the space between who you are and who you could be if you were truly pushed. But if no one's pushing you, if no one's calling you out, if everyone around you is justifying your stagnation, then you are being robbed, and you're letting it happen. You're not just a product of your goals, you're a product of your circle, the conversations you have, the standards you're exposed to, the energy you absorb. If everyone around you thinks small, plays it safe, and avoids accountability, you will too. Even if you have big dreams, you'll start to compromise without noticing. You'll start to dim your light, so others feel comfortable in your presence. And that's how potential dies. Quietly, politely, through years of subtle self-betrayal. But the moment you change your circle, your entire reality shifts. The moment you start spending time with people who talk about ideas instead of gossip, who prioritize discipline over distraction, who take action instead of making excuses, that's the moment you start transforming at the speed of honesty. Growth is contagious, so is complacency. Which one are you catching more of? You need to ask yourself a hard question right now. Who in my life is actually helping me grow? Not entertaining me, not agreeing with me, not cheering for me from the sidelines without challenging me to step onto the field. Who is actually sharpening me? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. If the answer is no one, then your first breakthrough isn't in working harder. It's in surrounding yourself with higher standards. You become who you spend time with, period. If you're around people who complain constantly, you'll start seeing problems everywhere. If you're around people who are disciplined and hungry, you'll start moving with urgency. The influence is subtle at first, but it's relentless. Every interaction shapes you. Every conversation either lifts you or limits you. You cannot escape it, so you have to be intentional about it. Sometimes the most important decision you'll ever make isn't what to do. It's who to do it around. Because you can have the perfect plan, the right goals, and all the motivation in the world. But if you're surrounded by people who think average is good enough, you will unconsciously start adjusting your pace, your standards, and your focus to match theirs. And that's dangerous. That's the slow fade into mediocrity that most people don't even realize they've stepped into until it's too late. You don't need people who flatter you. You need people who mirror you, people who hold up a reflection of who you are and who you said you wanted to be, and hold you accountable when you start drifting. You need people who remind you of your potential when you forget. People who aren't afraid to say, "You're better than that." That's real love. That's real support. Anything less is just comfort disguised as connection. You don't grow by being accepted by everyone. You grow by being around people who are evolving faster than you, because they force you to adapt. They pull you forward just by the way they live. Their work ethic makes you question your laziness. Their consistency makes your excuses feel hollow. Their clarity exposes your confusion. That's what you need. Not to compete with them, but to learn from them. Iron sharpens iron, but only if you're willing to get close enough to feel the friction. You can't build a powerful life in a weak environment. You can't speak greatness into existence while listening to people speak fear and limitation all day. You can't chase discipline and growth while your inner circle chases comfort and drama. Something has to give. And too often, it's the dream that dies when it should have been the environment that changed. Cutting people off isn't always necessary, but evolving past them, not with bitterness, not with ego, but with clarity. If they're not willing to grow and you are, then distance is wisdom. You don't owe anyone your future, especially not people who were only meant to be part of your past. Let go with grace. Move forward with intention. The people who are meant to run with you will never ask you to slow down. You need to build a tribe of challengers. People who expect results. People who talk in action, not fantasy. People who read, who train, who wake up early and work in silence. People who have been through battles and earned their wisdom. That energy is rare, but it exists. And once you find it, your pace changes. Your thoughts change. Your vision expands. You realize how much time you wasted trying to explain your hunger to people who never intended to get full. Let this be the season where you curate your circle with precision. Protect your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Every breakthrough, every reinvention, every comeback starts with one decision: to stop tolerating anything that keeps you from becoming your best self. Your dream is too important to be surrounded by noise. Your time is too valuable to be spent in mediocrity. And your potential is too powerful to be dimmed by low standards. So if you're serious about growth, stop waiting for your environment to support you and start designing one that does. Find mentors. Join rooms where you're a student, not the master. Get uncomfortable. Get around winners who make you question your habits. Immerse yourself in the energy of people who live what you talk about. That's the fastest way to grow. Not motivation, exposure. You grow through exposure to better conversations, to higher standards, to relentless accountability, to people who don't let you stay the same, who don't care about how much you talk, only how much you do. You grow by being around people who are further than you, not to impress them, but to stretch yourself. So stretch, evolve, surround yourself with the fire that forces you to rise. And if you're thinking, "I don't have people like that in my life," then start by becoming that person. Be the one who raises the standard. Be the one who reads while others scroll. Be the one who trains while others talk. Be the one who walks with discipline, speaks with intention, lives with clarity. You'll attract others like you. And when you do, protect that circle. Grow with them. Challenge each other. Build a tribe of excellence. Because in the end, it's not just about your goals, it's about your alignment. If your circle doesn't match your vision, you will either shrink your vision or change your circle. One leads to regret, the other leads to reinvention. You choose. So choose now. Choose to stop entertaining conversations that go nowhere. Choose to stop spending your energy trying to convince people to grow who have no intention of changing. Choose to align yourself with power, not comfort. Choose to chase proximity to greatness, not praise from the average. The path to your next level is not a secret. It's simple. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to become everything you said you would. And if they're not around yet, start by becoming the example. Start by being the one who doesn't need permission to grow. Because once you step into that level of clarity and power, you'll realize the truth. Your tribe isn't found. It's built. One choice at a time. One relationship at a time. One decision to never settle again. Now go build it. Surround yourself with power and never stop growing. Number 8, commit to daily learning and expand your knowledge daily. If you're not learning, you're falling behind because the world will not wait for you to catch up. Think about how much time slips through your fingers every single day. Minutes turn into hours and hours turn into months of drifting through life with the same level of understanding, the same habits, and the same limited perspective that held you back last year. You can't grow if your mind is stuck. You can't evolve if your thoughts never change. And you can't win if you never upgrade the way you think, live, and act. Life is demanding more from you. And the only way to rise is to expand your knowledge daily. You don't need to know everything, but you do need to know more than you did yesterday. That's how momentum builds. That's how confidence grows. That's how clarity forms. The greatest weapon in the world is a trained and disciplined mind. And you train it by committing to learning every single day. Not once a week, not when it's convenient. Every single day, you absorb, you reflect, you apply. You don't just listen to the world, you study it. You don't just go through experiences, you learn from them. That's how you separate yourself from 99% of people sleepwalking through their days. Most people think learning ends when school ends. That belief is the beginning of mediocrity. Formal education might have given you a foundation, but it's self-education that builds your future. The person who reads daily, listens with intent, questions deeply, and seeks wisdom in every challenge will always outgrow the person who thinks they've already figured it out. You don't grow old when your body ages. You grow old the moment your curiosity dies. And that's a tragedy. Most people don't realize until they're stuck in cycles they can't escape because they stopped feeding their mind the fuel it needed to evolve. Daily learning is not about collecting random information. It's about sharpening your awareness, strengthening your thinking, elevating your decisions. Every new idea gives you leverage. Every principle you understand opens up a new dimension of action. And over time, those tiny shifts compound into transformation. It's not about how much you know, it's about how deeply you think. And you can't think deeply if you never expose yourself to new mental inputs. Imagine this. Every single day is an opportunity to grow stronger mentally. You could learn something today that changes the way you see your past. You could read a line that heals a part of you that's been broken for years. You could discover a skill that unlocks a future you never thought was possible. But you'll never find any of that if you're too distracted, too passive, or too comfortable in what you already know. Your life doesn't change when you get lucky. It changes when you get intentional about what you learn. It doesn't take hours. It doesn't take perfect conditions. It takes a mindset, a commitment to stay hungry. You don't need a classroom. You need a decision that says, I will not waste today. I will grow. I will learn. I will seek wisdom like my life depends on it, because it does. And from that point on, every book becomes a treasure chest. Every conversation becomes a chance to listen more deeply. Every mistake becomes a masterclass. That's what it means to become a student of life. The people who win long-term aren't the loudest. They're the most prepared. They're the ones who spend every day stacking knowledge like bricks, building a foundation so strong that no failure, no setback, and no criticism can break them. They're calm because they understand. They're confident because they've trained. They move with conviction because they've studied every angle. And that's not luck. It's a byproduct of daily effort, daily discipline, daily learning. When you commit to learning, you develop something most people never touch: mental resilience. You stop reacting emotionally to everything. You stop fearing the unknown. You start analyzing problems instead of panicking over them. You begin to lead, not follow. And your mind becomes your most valuable asset, not your biggest enemy. It stops talking you out of greatness. It starts guiding you toward it. But this only happens when you stop treating learning like a chore and start treating it like a lifestyle. The question is not, do I have time? The real question is, what am I trading my time for? Because if you're scrolling endlessly, binge watching distractions, or numbing your mind with noise, you're making a choice. And every choice has a cost. The cost of ignoring your growth is steep. You don't pay it all at once. You pay it in small regrets, in missed opportunities, in delayed dreams, in a life that feels just a little too average, a little too repetitive, a little too unfulfilled. You must decide what kind of life you want. A life where you hope things get better, or a life where you get better every day. A life where you repeat yesterday, or one where every day is an upgrade. The only path to that kind of future is through learning, through absorbing the knowledge that helps you break your patterns, refine your behavior, and execute with greater clarity. You don't have to read 100 books a year. Start small. Read 5 pages a day. Listen to one powerful podcast on your commute. Write down one idea you learned and how it applies to your life. Watch a video that expands your mindset, but do it consistently. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is progress. Every day you learn, you're building yourself from the inside out. You're building mental muscles that most people never bother to touch. And that's how you separate. The world is evolving fast. Technology is changing. Opportunities are shifting. If you're not learning, you're not adapting. And if you're not adapting, you're becoming irrelevant to your own dreams. Don't let that happen. Don't let your future self look back and ask, why didn't you try harder to grow? The truth is, you don't need more motivation. You need more education. Motivation fades. Knowledge sticks. And when you know more, you do more. You execute with precision. You make sharper decisions. You move forward with speed. Because you're no longer guessing. You're guided by principles that work. You're operating from understanding, not emotion. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They never stopped learning. They were curious when others were comfortable. They studied when others relaxed. They built their minds so they could build their lives. And now they enjoy the rewards of that discipline. You have that same opportunity right now. Today, don't let it slip by. Pick up the book. Ask the question. Watch the interview. Reflect on your experiences. Stretch your thinking. And do it again tomorrow. Stack the learning. Build the habit. Make it your lifestyle. Because when you commit to learning every day, you gain more than knowledge. You gain power. Power over your fears. Power over your distractions. Power over your old limitations. You begin to unlock potential you didn't know you had. You begin to see the world through clearer eyes. You begin to move like someone who refuses to stay stuck. That's the gift of growth. That's the reward of daily learning. The question is, are you ready to claim it? Because if you are, here's your call to action. Don't wait for the perfect time to start learning. Start now. Don't wait for motivation. Build discipline. Don't wish you knew more. Decide to learn more. Right now. Right here. Today. Every single day. Invest in your mind like your future depends on it. Because it does. Now go become wiser than you were yesterday. Every day is your classroom. Every moment is your teacher. Show up with humility. Show up with hunger. And never ever stop learning. Number 9. Work on your mindset to conquer self-doubt and fear. There's a battle happening inside you right now. And if you don't learn to control your mindset, fear and self-doubt will win. You've felt it. That invisible weight on your chest when you're about to step outside your comfort zone. That whisper that says you're not ready, you're not enough. You'll fail just like before. It doesn't matter how much potential you have. If your mind isn't right, that potential stays locked inside. You don't move forward. You don't take the shot. You don't speak up, stand tall, or go after what you truly want. And the worst part is, you start to believe that maybe it's just not meant for you. That's the lie. That's the trap. And it starts in your mind. Your mindset is either your greatest weapon or your deadliest weakness. And most people don't even realize how often their own thoughts are the very thing holding them back. You see, fear doesn't always show up as panic. Sometimes it's subtle. It disguises itself as procrastination, hesitation, or overthinking. It tells you to wait, to shrink, to doubt yourself just enough to stay exactly where you are. And the longer you listen to it, the louder it gets. That's why you must fight back. Not by running from fear, but by reprogramming your mind to face it. Every achievement, every success, every breakthrough begins with a mindset that says, I will not be defeated by my own thoughts. That's where transformation begins. Not in the world outside you, but in the story you tell yourself every day. If that story is full of limits, doubt, and fear, you will never reach your next level. But if you rewrite that story to one of strength, courage, and belief, you become unstoppable. It's not about ignoring fear. It's about understanding it, facing it, and choosing power over paralysis. Most people don't realize how much influence they have over their own mind. They treat fear like a fact instead of a feeling. But fear is just a prediction. It's your brain trying to protect you from the unknown. And guess what? Most of what you fear never even happens. Yet it controls you. That's why mindset work isn't optional. It's essential. If you want to grow, you have to take control of the internal dialogue that shapes every decision you make. The way you talk to yourself matters more than anything else. If you wake up and immediately start telling yourself how hard life is, how tired you are, how unlikely it is for you to succeed, you've already lost. You've set the tone. You've planted seeds of doubt that will shape your actions all day. But if you wake up and declare that today is another opportunity to win, to get better, to move forward, then you start building momentum. That's the power of mindset. It doesn't erase the challenges, but it changes how you approach them. You have to become the gatekeeper of your mind. You don't let just any thought in. You question it. You challenge it. You replace the negative with truth. You remind yourself of what you've survived, what you've conquered, and what you're still capable of becoming. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I rise?" Because fear shrinks in the presence of clarity, of certainty, of belief that is earned through daily discipline. This is about mental conditioning. Just like you train your body, you must train your mind. You don't wake up with confidence. You build it. You don't wait for courage. You develop it through action. The more you step into discomfort, the more your mind learns that you are capable. And the more capable you feel, the more fear loses its grip on you. That's the process. Face it. Push through it. Prove to yourself that you're stronger than the voice that tells you to quit. Think back to the last time you let fear make a decision for you. Maybe you didn't speak up. Maybe you didn't take the risk. Maybe you talked yourself out of applying, creating, or showing up. That version of you is not the final version. But you'll never evolve if you keep running from the very things that are meant to build you. Fear is the gatekeeper to your growth. It's not there to stop you. It's there to test you. And the test is simple. Will you let your thoughts control you, or will you control your thoughts? Self-doubt is not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that something important is on the line. It means you care. It means you're stepping into new territory. And that's where all growth happens. The goal isn't to eliminate self-doubt. The goal is to recognize it, stare it down, and move anyway. Because action builds belief, and belief transforms everything. Your mind responds to repetition. If you constantly feed it fear, worry, and excuses, it will build patterns that sabotage you. But if you feed it discipline, encouragement, and challenge, it will rise to meet your vision. That's why mindset is a daily battle. You don't conquer it once and forget it. You conquer it every morning when you choose courage over comfort. You conquer it every night when you reflect on your progress instead of your problems. You conquer it every time you stop listening to the voice of fear and start acting in alignment with your values. The truth is, you already have everything you need to win inside you. But until your mindset aligns with that truth, you'll keep looking for answers in the wrong places. You'll chase motivation instead of building discipline. You'll seek comfort instead of embracing challenge. You'll play small when the world is asking you to go big. And all of that starts with how you think. This is your wake-up call. It's time to take back control. Stop letting your past define your future. Stop letting failure scare you into silence. Stop letting fear write the script of your life. You're capable of so much more, but you'll never see it if you keep doubting it. Change the story in your mind, and you change the outcome of your life. Start small. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning how." Replace "what if I fail" with "what will I gain." Replace "I'm not ready" with "I'll grow through this." These tiny shifts create massive results over time. And as your mindset transforms, so does your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's limited. You start seeing yourself as someone who's powerful, capable, and ready to rise. The path to conquering fear and self-doubt is not about pretending they don't exist. It's about deciding they won't control you anymore. It's about standing face to face with every thought that tries to hold you back and saying, you don't get to run my life anymore. That's power. That's freedom. And that's how you become who you were meant to be. You are not your fear. You are not your doubt. You are not your hesitation. You are the one who chooses what to believe, what to pursue, and what to become. And the moment you start choosing belief over fear, clarity over confusion, purpose over paralysis, that's when everything begins to shift. That's when you start living, not just existing. So here's your call to action. Stop running from your thoughts. Start reshaping them. Train your mind like your future depends on it, because it does. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year. Right now, conquer your thoughts, and you will conquer your life. Fear might knock, but it doesn't get to move in. Doubt might speak, but it doesn't get the final word. You do. You always do. Now rise. Think differently. Act boldly, and never stop becoming the strongest version of yourself. Number 10, focus on consistency to create unstoppable momentum daily. If you want to achieve anything of significance in life, consistency will be your best friend and your ultimate weapon. Without it, all the talent in the world won't matter. Without it, all the dreams you have will remain just that, dreams. But with consistency, you can turn the smallest actions into unstoppable momentum, and that momentum will carry you toward the extraordinary life you've always wanted. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to rise to the top effortlessly, while others, despite their ambition, keep spinning their wheels in the same place? It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about the power of small, consistent actions, repeated every single day. The secret isn't found in bursts of motivation or flashes of brilliance. It's found in the quiet, mundane, everyday actions that compound over time, slowly but surely building a foundation for success. You see, momentum is not a one-time thing. It's something you create daily. You have the power to create momentum that will push you forward, even when you don't feel like moving at all. But it starts with one simple truth. If you show up every day, no matter how small the step, you will eventually outpace everyone else. Let me paint a picture for you. Think about a snowball. At first it's small, barely noticeable, but as it rolls down a hill, it picks up speed and mass. The longer it rolls, the bigger it gets. At the beginning, the snowball might feel insignificant, but the more it rolls, the more powerful it becomes. That's what consistency does. It starts small, almost unnoticeable. But if you keep going day after day, it snowballs into something unstoppable. Now, let's get real for a second. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not the shiny, high-energy moment you post about on social media. It's not the look at me highlight reel. It's the small, repetitive actions that no one sees. It's the waking up when you're tired, the showing up when no one expects it, the doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's the quiet discipline that happens in the background, building a structure for success that's invisible but strong. But here's where the magic happens. That consistency you've been building, even when you thought it wasn't paying off, will eventually catch up with you. It will start to compound. And one day, when you least expect it, all that effort will pay off. The small actions will have built a momentum that you can't stop. You won't have to push as hard anymore. You won't have to work as long, because consistency has done the heavy lifting. It's created a momentum that carries you forward, even on the toughest days. So why do so many people fail to harness the power of consistency? It's because they don't understand the value of the small things. They don't see the long-term impact of showing up every day. They're waiting for a breakthrough moment, for something huge to happen, and they miss the beauty of what's happening right now. The truth is, if you can commit to showing up day after day, no matter how small the task, you will begin to see results. Not overnight, not in a week, but over time, you'll start to notice the shift. And when you do, you'll realize that your consistency has made you untouchable. Consistency is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's what turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. It's the thing that turns ambition into results. It's what makes success inevitable. The truth is, everyone can be consistent, but most people won't. They'll start, get excited, and then quit when things get tough, or when they don't see immediate results. But you're different. You're willing to put in the work, no matter how long it takes. And because of that, you will rise above the rest. The key to unstoppable momentum is embracing the process. Understand that growth isn't a straight line. It's a journey with ups and downs, peaks and valleys. But each day you show up, each day you take one small step forward, you're creating the momentum that will propel you toward your goals. Every action you take builds a little more momentum. Every decision you make to keep going when others quit is a decision that brings you closer to your vision. But let's be honest, the road to consistency isn't always easy. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up, days when you feel like giving up, days when the task seems too big or the results seem too far away. On those days, your consistency will be tested. That's when your commitment to the process will matter the most. It's on those tough days when the true power of consistency is revealed. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean you have to get everything right all the time. It means that you're committed to doing the work, even when it's hard. It means that you keep going, even when you don't see immediate results. And it means that you don't let a setback or a failure stop you, because you know that consistency is what builds momentum. And momentum is what moves you closer to your goals. One of the most powerful things about consistency is that it creates a snowball effect. At first, the momentum might feel slow. You might wonder if it's even working. But the longer you stick with it, the faster and more powerful that momentum becomes. It's like building muscle. In the beginning, it feels like you're not making any progress. But over time, you start to see the strength you've built. You start to see the results of the work you've put in. You see, consistency doesn't just build momentum. It also builds confidence. Every day you show up and put in the work, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes your way. You prove that you are committed to your goals, no matter what it takes. And as your confidence grows, so does your ability to push through challenges, overcome obstacles, and keep moving forward. But here's the kicker. Consistency doesn't just work for big long-term goals. It works for small goals too. Whether you're building a business, getting fit, learning a new skill, or improving your relationships, consistency is the key. It's the thing that makes success inevitable, no matter what area of your life you're working on. You see, success doesn't come from one big grand effort. It comes from countless small, consistent actions that add up over time. So what does that look like in your life? What does consistency mean for you? It means waking up every day with the commitment to do something, no matter how small. That brings you closer to your goals. It means taking action even when you don't feel like it. It means choosing the long-term reward over the short-term comfort. It means understanding that success isn't a destination, it's a journey. And the journey is made up of the small, consistent steps you take every single day. But here's the best part. Once you start building that momentum, something magical happens. The work doesn't feel as hard anymore. The challenges don't seem as overwhelming. The doubt doesn't seem as loud, because consistency has become a habit. And habits are powerful. Once you create the habit of showing up every day, you don't even think about it, you just do it. It becomes a part of who you are. That's the power of consistency. It's not just about getting results. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally creates success. It's about becoming the person who doesn't give up, who doesn't quit, who keeps going even when things get tough. And when you become that person, nothing can stop you. Now here's your call to action. Commit to consistency. Make it a non-negotiable part of your life. No more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect moment. Start today. Do one thing, no matter how small, that moves you closer to your goals. Then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. You'll look up one day and realize that your consistency has built unstoppable momentum, and that momentum has carried you farther than you ever thought possible.